Good afternoon, dear parents. We will start in a few minutes as we wait for the other participants to enter. Again, please wait for a while as we wait for the other participants to enter. Thank you. other, ano naman, other pillow. You help ate. Good afternoon, parents and guests. I am Miss Tonette, Academic Coordinator of Schola de Vita. Welcome to SDV Safety First, a live webinar designed to enlighten parents on the flexible options in schooling in the time of COVID-19. Before we begin, may I ask everyone to bow down their heads and pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. As we come together today, we thank you for the gift of life. We are grateful for bringing us together. Please help us, teachers and parents, to always do what is best for our children and to be more patient and understanding to their needs during this time of pandemic. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin our Safety First live webinar, may I introduce to you our directress, Miss Mary Grace Aquino Cuenca. Miss Meg is a graduate of BS Psychology and AB Guidance and Counseling at St. Scholastica's College, Manila. She is a graduate of Master of Arts in Early Childhood Education at De La Salle University, Manila. She was a former preschool teacher at Southville International School, former curriculum coordinator at Mind Builders Preschool. She's currently the officer of the one of the officers of the Association of Las Piñas Private School, or ALPS, or we call it La Brisa before, a hands-on mom of three girls and happily married to architect Jasper Cuenca. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Meg.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, dear parents. May I see a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly? Can you hear me? Okay po. Ayan. Good afternoon. Thank you for making time for today. And I hope this webinar will be very fruitful And just ano lang po, relax and take a break from your busy schedules. Our goal is to enlighten everyone, to give you tips. I'm sure most of the parents nowadays are very, very anxious with what's happening, and we're all confused as to what choices to make. So I know that it's very, very difficult to be a parent nowadays, and we just have to, vent out, listen to each other's suggestions, and maybe this venue will be very, very helpful for everyone. So I hope the others who are trying to come in, ayan, sana makahabol sila. But anyway, this is already the fourth webinar that we've been doing. We're doing it every other Saturday so that new and old parents will be informed not just about what the plans of Schola de Vita are, but it's more on reaching out to parents so that we can be of help, especially during this time. Okay, so let's start. There, welcome to the new normal. Ayan, so wala na tayong choice. This is already the new normal that we have to embrace since March, di po ba? March, biglang natigil lang lahat and we have no choice but to really adapt to the situation. So now that it's already GCQ, it's still not safe. People are thinking that we can already go out, but actually it's more dangerous now since there's still no vaccine. So looking at this picture, I'm sure you can all relate. I'm also a mom like you, a parent like you. For all the daddies here, I'm sure you also have the same anxieties. We just want to really protect our children from being sick and from being exposed to this coronavirus. That's why some parents are thinking, should I send my children to school? Should I stop them from going to school? What is the best thing to do? So some parents think that there's no effect if anyway it's just 1 year if I stop sending my children to school. But later on, I'll share with you what are the possible effects that this might cause our children. So it says here, we have to focus on what matters. So right now, I think what matters in every household is family. We have to embrace the most important uh, thing in the world for us. Our family is the reason why we are working, why we are striving. So perhaps let's set aside the stress and let's focus on the gift of family. And let's focus on the essentials also. So what are the essentials nowadays? If you've noticed, di ba po ang kumikita ngayon pagkain, yung mga, kumbaga we go back to basics. Parang siguro it's also God's way of showing to people that wait, stop muna. You refocus and uh, stop from your very busy lifestyle and from maybe from spending too much. Maybe this is the time to really save money and to focus on only the essentials. And I think one of the essentials is the education of our children, aside from all other basic needs. Okay, so next, let me share with you a quote. There, this is to inspire everyone that I'm a parent like you and I understand that it's really, really difficult to juggle everything, especially to those who are working at home or having work from home. And you have to squeeze in the time to, make sure that you also spend quality time with your children, you do the laundry, you cook, and parang kulang yung 24 hours, di ba? And with this quote, it's just so inspiring to know that every family is different. And in Schola, in our school, we respect differences in families and priorities. So later on, what I'll be discussing with you is not just boxing you to one option. So it's more on enlightening you that if this will work for your family, then go for it. And if it's not going to work because this is your situation, then we respect that. We offer certain options. Okay, it says here, parenting is the easiest thing in the world to have an opinion about, but the hardest thing in the world to do, which is very true. I'm sure kapitbahay yung chismosa or mga in-laws na ang daming sinasabi about how you raise your children, they really they will never know unless they're in your shoes. And I think all mommies and daddies here who are doing their best for their children, you all deserve a tap on your back, on your shoulder, because you're all doing a great job. And to greet also, happy Father's Day tomorrow to all the daddies who are here and to all the moms who are standing as their dads, the family in the family, as the daddy in the family. Okay, so the other quote says, don't judge others. No one's an expert. Everyone parents differently, which is very true. We're all just trying our hardest while loving and surviving motherhood, even fatherhood or grandparenthood. So, different strategies will work for different families. We may be in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. So, iba-iba tayo ng priorities, iba-iba tayo ng coping mechanisms. So, if, for example, homeschooling will work for the other family, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will work also with the other family. So let me share with you later on the different options. Okay, next. There. So let me share how do we cope nowadays. It's very, very difficult, especially for those who were laid off from work or those who are commuting, nakikipagsapalaran sa labas just to be able to reach the office or the workplace. Anyway, in any situation, we just have to look at the positive. So if you're going out for work, at least you have work. If you're working at home, at least you get to stay with your family. So I think the basic there is we accept things we cannot change. Because if we do not, that's where and when stress will come in. So the situation right now, I think no one's in control. We cannot really push, the going outside, bringing our children outside because of the situation. So we just have to accept it. And I think our children and our families are thriving and we are making the most out of our time at home. And we also have to find a healthy outlet, perhaps kung exercise man or gardening, planting, cooking, or whatever it is that makes you happy, find it aside from the work, aside from the chores that you do at home. Also, you appreciate the little things at home. Yung mga hindi nyo napapansin nung busy pa ang ating lifestyle. When you have an 8 to 5 job and you rush to go out of your house, you don't even notice that there's a flower growing in your garden. So yung mga ganong natitake for granted, we can focus on it now. Enjoy family time, be more resourceful. So lahat na nga daw po online seller na, wala nang buyer. Ayan, but it doesn't matter because it's, the family's way of coping and funding the needs of their family. So, okay yun. Be wiser in spending. Yan, siguro this is one of the greatest lessons that every family have right now. Make time also for prayer, of course. Hindi lang tuwing may kailangan, but make it a habit, especially now that we do not know what's happening already around the world, and it's only prayers that will really work. And we hold on and believe that this too shall pass and believe that God provides and He will stop the storm. So matatapos din naman ito, mga mommies and daddies, but it will really just take time. Okay, so next. So as parents, what should we do? Basically, it's really our responsibility to provide learning environment for our children, especially with this situation. Um, but first and foremost, we have to protect our children from the stress that we are feeling because they don't deserve it. Tayo man ay for sure na stress tayo one way or another since March because of the changes that are happening. But you know, we have to try our best not to make that affect our children kasi hindi naman nila yun problem, or perhaps we can find ways on making them remember positive things only during this pandemic time. Yung paglaki nila, ang babalikan nila, dahil sila yung mga COVID generation, when they look back, ang memories nila is, if for the parents, this is the most stressful year, for the children, it can be the happiest year of all. Kasi ito yung pwede nilang sabihin na ito yung year na magkakasama kami, buo ang family, or kundi man buo, andito ang one of the parents or guardians nila that can really spend time because not everyone is rushing to work because of the situation. So we can make this moment memorable and happy for our children. So we can allow them to reconnect to the world, yan, using the technology, allow them to explore. Okay lang yun minsan, maligo sa ulan, and allow them to continue learning. We also provide them a conducive learning atmosphere or study area at home, especially if you really decided to enroll them in an online school. Then it's also our responsibility to prepare them and to prepare the environment for them. And of course, it's our responsibility to make time for their learning. No matter how busy we are, it should be part of our lifestyle. It should be part of our schedule. It should be part of our routine that you really, sit down with your child and guide the child as to how to understand certain lessons. But, if there are different setups regarding this, so if you want on your own and homeschooling, so yun po, later I'll explain that further. Okay, next. There. So if one of the essentials is to continue learning, continue the education of our children. We will be guided with this, with Secretary Briones' statement that the DepEd is considering, of course, one of their priorities is the safety of the children. Before, sinabi niya na August 24, meron ng face-to-face, but the President gave a statement that there should be no face-to-face unless there's already a vaccine. So yun po ang naging stand ng government, that public schools will start on August 24, provided it's either an online or modular program, but there's no face-to-face that's going to happen. Okay, so next. There. So I think some of the parents would ask me this. What if the government will declare that schooling will stop for this school year? So I think this is not going to happen because even if the president declares it, it's already a law. It will take time to amend a law. It's a law that schooling in the Philippines may start not earlier than June and not later than August. That's why the public school chose August 24 kasi if i-move yan nila ng September, they have to amend the law because it's already in the law na hanggang August lang yung start. If ever mag-stop yung school ng lahat, it's going to be a big problem also, another additional problem for the government, because there will be millions of teachers, private school teachers, public school teachers who will lose their jobs. So paano yun na how will they sustain their living? their source of income if schooling will stop. So I think that's not going to happen. And there are also, aside from the DepEd, there are also federations of private schools associations that will contradict this one, and they are making ways also to to make the government hear the side of the private schools as well. Okay, so there's a question also that why did you open the classes early? Okay, so as mentioned, let's move on to the next slide. As mentioned, it is a law that it's in RA 7797 there na private schools can open, can start the school year not earlier than June and not later than August. Actually, a lot of schools already opened this June and a lot will open in July. Okay, so next. There. So this is for a calendar of the public school. So even if they start on August 24, August 3, meron na po silang pre-school opening assignments. Ayan. So I think enrollment na din nila. And I just don't know how they will go about it because we're talking about millions of students that need education. So we'll see what's going to happen in the public sector. Okay, so for us, next. So definitely, it's just the school building that's closed, but schools will continue, the learning continues. And if you listen to the hum of the hardworking teachers, administrators, and support staff, this is the year when we really feel brokenhearted because it's still different when you teach physically, when you see and hug children, and when you interact with them face to face. But we have no choice. But still, these broken hearts will lead, and we are working hard to give the best of education despite the limitations of distance learning. Okay, next. There. So this is one of the reasons why learning must continue. So, ang sinasabi ng iba, stop ko muna, 1 year lang naman. But then there's an effect, uh, perhaps aside from emotional, psychological effect, there, academically, intellectually, there's what we call reading gap. Like if the brain of the child stops learning for 3 months or more, bumababa yung activity ng brain and pwedeng magkaroon ng reading gap. So instead of the child reaching his or her potentials already, nandun na siya sa momentum, especially for the critical years, yung preschool, grade 1, grade 2, na imagine nasa peak sila ng they're very thirsty for knowledge, they're trying out certain skills, especially yung reading skills, and all of a sudden you have to stop everything. Tapos sasabihin mo sa bata, anak, next year ka na lang mag-aral. Hindi rin kita matuturuan kasi busy si mommy, busy si daddy. So imagine what would be the effect of that to the children. Okay, so aside from reading gap, next is there's also a gap in mathematics. Yan, mas relevant, and syempre yung problem solving skills, yung mastery, very critical yan in the preschool and in the early grades. Yeah, that's where they learn the foundation. And if you suddenly stop it for a long period of time, pagbalik, ayan, ang hirap makarecover, ang hirap ibalik. So magsa-start na naman yung bata from step 1. Okay, that's why a lot of conscious parents would enroll, or kung hindi man ma-enroll, at least there will be still study time at home. So good for parents who have the luxury of time to really set a study time at home regularly. Okay, so next. There. So aside from the learning, the academics that children need from their teachers, our teachers also have roles that they can still provide even if it's online or distance learning. So it says here, teachers help students find important things they've lost every day. So this is in a normal situation. Sometimes it's a paper, a backpack, or a jacket. Other times it's courage, confidence, or a smile. So perhaps in this time of pandemic, uh, emotionally, merong nawala sa ating mga anak, maybe confidence or courage or yung routine niya of yung lagi siyang happy when he or she goes to school, pwedeng nawala kasi nasa house na lang siya. But we can revive that. There, next. So why deprive our kids if we have an option to be safe and at the same time continue learning? So this is the benefit of if we continue with online learning, at least, the teachers cannot just provide the academics. It's more than that. It's the connection, it's the words of encouragement, yung mga assurance from a second parent that can bring back what was lost. Next. Yeah, so these are the things that can help, that can be given to your children, a feeling that everything is going to be okay. So perhaps may mga maaring may mga bata na hindi kaya mag-cope with changes, especially children with special needs. If they're faced with the change in routines, a big change in their environment, sometimes hindi sila makakope up. And there are normal children who find it very stressful to adjust with a change in their routine or in their lifestyle. So if at least we get to give them the chance to reconnect, to join an online school, to see classmates and teachers, maybe a feeling that everything is going to be okay is good enough for us to give to our children. There, so aside from learning, there's connection, there's also laughter. So if there are fun activities in the class, diba, that can bring out laughter in your child, comforting smiles, words of encouragement. This mean a lot to if this is the love language of your children, and sense of belongingness, the feeling that I belong to a class. This is my section. I have classmates. Their companionship, sense of responsibility, because if the child goes to an online school, meron yung schedule, so that's part of the discipline that you have to wake up, you have to attend your class, you cannot be late, so those things, and of course, there's still assignments to accomplish. There, so flexibility and adaptability is very, very important because uh, these children look at us, they look at their parents as their models. So if we parents are showing them that we can stand up, we can move forward despite the changes that's happening, then they can follow that and they can copy that when they grow up. So when you're faced with the down moments in your life, just stand up and move forward. So be flexible and be adaptable. Be adaptive to your new environment. Okay, so yun words of affirmation, challenging tasks that, some children find home time boring kasi wala na silang magawa. But if they're faced with challenging activities, then their brain will work again and they'll enjoy again. So those things, these are just a few, but there are a lot of things pa that can happen to our children if we just provide them the means to reconnect. Okay, next. There, so let me clear with you. Let me clarify the differences with these terms, since the aim of this webinar is also to educate parents. Ano ba talaga yung homeschooling? Ano ba yung face-to-face na sinasabi nila? So a lot of inquiry, I receive inquiries about, do you offer homeschooling? But the parent pala is pertaining to online school. So there's a big difference. Um, these are called different delivery modalities. So first is the face-to-face. This is the normal situation that we have been doing in the past with the absence of the pandemic, which we cannot do right now. Kahit sabihin nila na there's already a vaccine, it will take how many months to test that vaccine? Perhaps bago makarating siguro sa Pilipinas, or kung makarating man sa Pilipinas, magkano kaya yun? Baka for sure, taxes and all, another pagkakakitaan ng government. So we do not really know if it's going to be available this year. And if it becomes available, of course, we need time to test it. Kasi baka po ang mangyari parang yung Dengvac siya na hindi natin alam how safe it will be in the long run. Also, if may vaccine na, kailangan pa ng time to heal for those who were infected. And we're talking about thousands, millions of people around the world who are infected already. Di ba po, ang vaccine will work as prevention to get the virus. But how about those who are all over us, walking, yung mga carriers who are asymptomatic and just, nandyan lang sila sa labas? We do not really know how safe our children can be if we risk it, if we go out and do the face-to-face eventually. That's why we really opt for online all the way as much as possible. Sa tingin namin, itong school year na to, hindi talaga uubra yung face-to-face. Even if, paunti-unti. So let's see. Next is the homeschooling. And when you say homeschooling, it's totally different from online school. Homeschooling has been existing ever since, way back, even without the pandemic. This is the option of some parents who do not want to send their children to school and would like to teach their children themselves. So pag sinabing homeschooling, you just have to look for a provider, an accredited homeschool provider that will sell. You will have to purchase their curriculum at sila yung magpo-provide ng documents sa inyong mga anak. Sila magpo-provide ng LRN. Although marami pong napiktima na akala nila DepEd accredited, tas hindi pala. So walang LRN yung bata. So be very careful when choosing a homeschool provider. So pag sinabing homeschool, nasa inyo na yung resources, yung materials, yung books, yung curriculum, pero walang teacher. Si mommy or si daddy ang magtuturo sa bahay. That is homeschooling. Walang schedule, meron lang mga targets. Let's say for this week, ito yung target, target number of hours, target set of objectives, pero si mommy or si daddy ang magtuturo sa bahay. So yung iba, homeschool pero kukuha ng tutor. So take a look also na nagdodoble-doble din yung expenses because for some, mura nga yung homeschool pero pag binili mo naman yung materials, ganun din. Para ka ding nagpaaral ng 100,000 a year. And then you have to pay pa the tutor if you yourself cannot teach your children. This also becomes a problem if the child goes to high school already and you're the one teaching your children. Pahirap na ng pahirap. So ang hirap if it's not your expertise, yung halimbawa mathematics, Filipino, 'di ba? Ang hirap niyang ituro and ang hirap i-meet ng competencies expected for the level. Kung teacher nga needs time pa to plan and to really study how students can really understand a certain content and meet certain competencies, what more sa parents. But there are advantages naman. Ang advantage yun nga, yung hawak nyo yung time nyo, you get to really monitor what your child is learning. Ayan. So yun yung mga advantages of homeschooling. There. The other one is the apprenticeship. So this applies naman for senior high school wherein yun yung immersion na instead of confining them in four walls of the classroom or just in online, pwede na silang mag OJT, parang ganon, immersion in the company setup. Siguro it can be possible pag okay na po at meron ng vaccine. Ayan, next. There. So what do you mean when you say blended learning? So I'm sure a lot of schools are offering this na we offer flexible blended learning. Ayan, pagka ganito po, it means yung shifting. Like, hindi lang siya confined into online. There will be times when students will have face-to-face. Pag sinabing blended learning, yung mga hahatiin yung class, kunyari yung class of 40, pag ano na daw, let's say third quarter na, papasok na muna yung kalahati, kunyari daw Monday, Wednesday, Friday, half of the grade 1 class, tapos the next hour or the next days naman, kalahati, so yung mga ganun to secure social distancing. Yan. But ito nga po yung medyo risky pa din, and it will still depend on the presence of the vaccine. Ayan. So distance learning, on the other hand, is what we are going to offer. Ayan. So kung sinabing distance learning, talagang magkakalayo lahat. But we become together through the online platform. Ayan. So it's either online, pwede rin namang may printed modules, pwede rin siyang tinatawag na offline, but learning can still continue even if we don't physically see each other. Ayan, next. There. So this will be the scenario. Imagine if that's the scene in the classroom. So, di ba, yung fear mo as a parent, how will you be assured that your child will not touch his or her classmates or yung the things around the classroom, even if the school will secure that lahat yan in-sprayan ng alcohol and we follow the DOH guidelines. What happens during the time when your child travels going to school? It's okay if everyone's going to school by a car or a private transportation. But what if some students or teachers commute and hindi po ba lahat nga po carrier? So hindi mo alam kung yung katabi mo sa public transportation or yung nakasama mo sa labas ay carrier pala and nahawa ka, nadala mo pa siya sa school. So it's very, very risky. There, next. Yeah, just to share, there are schools around the world that went back to face-to-face, pero nag-stop din po sila because of this. Ayan, so sa France and also in Canada. Ayan. So let me, for a few moments lang. All right. Okay, so this is actually this is a true story. The building on the right side is where my friend works before. And dito po dinadala yung mga frontline, yung mga kids na mga frontliners. So, unfortunately, ayan, yung daycare center nahawaan yung mga bata and staff. Ayan, so they had to close down again. Ayan, and also in France. So, at least in the Philippines, hindi pa naman siya nagsispread sa mga bata. But in other countries kasi maybe they did not take it seriously. Sa Korea din, pinabalik na sa school and then may nagkaroon ng cases, so sarado na naman. So yung mga hindi pa din siya natatapos, kumbaga. So babalik, and there's a possibility daw po that after GCQ, pwedeng ECQ ulit. So hindi pa natin alam what's going to happen in the long run. Okay, next. There. So as a parent who wants the best for his or her child, what matters to you now when choosing a school? So it depends kasi may mga schools that would say, pagka okay na po, babalik na sila sa school physically. Ganyan. So it's going to be your gauge also to as a choice in choosing the right school for your child. Will you choose a school that will offer online na lang talaga for the whole year para safe? Or paano kapag biglang pababalikin sila sa school? Am I ready to send my child back to school? Yeah, so these are different things that we consider as a parent. So I think, yeah, facilities ba importante pa ngayon? School's name, prestige, or is it necessary to just focus on safety? And of course, yung teacher competence, practical and reasonable yung fees, and the curriculum is competent, quality education is there. So again, I'm calling everyone to, refocus. Let's focus on the essentials. Okay, next. Yeah, so again, focus on what matters and focus on the essentials. Kasi nowadays, we've been receiving a lot of inquiries from big schools in the community. Perhaps a lot have been really disappointed with how some big schools are managing it and how they're coping. Perhaps ang dami pa pong wala pang plano or malabo pa yung plano or hindi pa nako-communicate to the parents their concrete plans. And it's really disappointing for most parents kasi we're talking about the life of our children here for this school year. So it's very important that you choose an option, you choose a school that will really show you a concrete plan para collaboratively, di ba, we can work together for your children's needs. There. So next. So let me share with you what the plans of Schola di Vita are. So far, we have concrete plans already, strategic plans, and we prioritize, of course, the family's welfare and safety. Here. Next. Okay, so to ensure safety, ayan, we will have online and distance learning. Varied online strategies will be implemented with consideration of the needs of the learners, their home situation, and in accordance with the nature of the subjects that will be taught. Yeah, so pure online po tayo. Next. There. So this is what we are telling everyone before. And like what all schools are saying, that there might be a gradual shift to blended learning. Sabi ng iba, third quarter, fourth quarter. So it's really not sure yet. But for us, we would like to already set it as sana online na lang hanggang matapos. Ayan, next. That's why we have a solution to parents' concerns na paano kung ayaw kong ibalik yung anak ko sa school physically. So that's okay. It's okay, we understand. That's why we are offering flexible options. So your child may continue with online learning until the end of the school year. However, please be prepared for the changes in the schedule, as this might include Saturday classes. But generally, ang stand po ng Schola is online until the end of the school year. If it so happen na nagkamilagro po, halimbawa ng January at lahat na, bumabalik na, then maybe we can open the option for those who would like only to be physically joining the blended learning. But sa tingin ko po sa situation now, parang hindi po siya possible within the school year. So hoping and praying that we'll just finish the school year with online. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Next. Yeah, by the way po, if you have questions, you may type it in the chat. There's a chat button below. And later on, I will be answering your queries and concerns. Here. So how do we go about distance learning? We have this online program. So kanina po I explained the difference of online sa homeschool. Pag sinabi kasing homeschool, yun nga po, yung parents mismo ang magtuturo. So requirement sa homeschool na at least one parent walang trabaho or stay at home para makuha ng bata yung tamang academic needs. Kasi imagine if both parents are working, let's say makauwi pareho at 6 p.m., ano pong gagawin ng bata the whole day waiting for for his or her parent, and then 6 o'clock pa lang ba siya magsa-start mag-study? So that might be an unhealthy setup for a homeschooling. So dapat po talaga meron at merong magi-give up ng work to para panindigan yung homeschooling. Pero yun nga po, if homeschooling is not going to work for your family, for the situation, bawa si mommy, si daddy, hindi ko kaya ituro tong mga to, nakaka-stress, or mag-aaway lang kami ng anak ko, and no time, I cannot give up my work. If I get a tutor, mas magastos. So why not opt for online na lang? So pag online, meron tayong katuwang na teacher. Yun po yung difference. Pag homeschool, wala kang katuwang na teacher, ikaw lahat. Pag online, yan, if you're enrolling, then there's a teacher who will really meet the competencies required per level. And the role of the parent is to support as a guide, to guide really, especially the young ones, kasi hindi naman kaya na si teacher lang. Of course, it's going to be a collaborative effort between the home and the teacher, between parents and teachers. Yan. So for online program, ito lang po yung requirements. Very important yung strong Wi-Fi connection. Ayan. And you download the platform that we will be using. Ayan. So the teacher and the student log into a single online platform and carry out tasks or activities and discussion throughout the allotted time. So pag sinabing online, may schedule siya na susundan. Unlike in homeschool na kayo yung masusunod sa schedule. Ayan. So advantage if you have printers, kasi meron po kaming sinisend na interactive worksheets that you can print if you want. Pwede rin naman siyang sagutan online directly. Ayan. Textbooks will be provided pa din and will be sent to your house after enrollment. So I think as educators, as an educator, I believe in the importance of hard copy pa din. Despite this technology, lalo na sa mga preschoolers, syempre importante that they learn to write properly. Iba pa din yung meron silang libro talaga aside from the e-books. So all textbooks will be provided, pero meron din po yung e-books. Kung halimbawa yung bata ay tinatamad, inaantok pag sa textbook siya nagbabasa, pwede niyo pong basahin sa cellphone. Yung same content ng nasa textbook ay meron pong e-book na pwede niyong i-open sa laptop or pwede niyong i-open sa cellphone or tablet. There. Next. Ayan. So how does it go? Yung online. Meron pa din pong quizzes, meron pa din exams. Yan, may formative and summative assessments. It will be given online to measure if the students really understand the lesson. Yan, meron pa din performance tasks. Yan, because it's very important. It's an important component in checking if the student can really apply the skills that they have learned and if they understood the lessons. Yan, preschoolers will be given developmentally appropriate learning kits and activities that involve music and movement, following directions, and comprehension development. Ayan, so may mga learning materials po yung mga maliliit, yung mga preschoolers. There, next. There, so here is what we call hybrid model. So we follow this, it means na hindi porket, let's say 4 hours, 4 hours din silang naka-online. So there will be uh, the time in between or after class meetings will be devoted to accomplishing tasks as scheduled on the learning management platform. So for example, yung English class, pwede pong kahit 4 times a week siya, pwedeng 3 times a week lang po sila nag-online, and then the fourth meeting ay gagawa sila ng essay, and they don't have to log in while making the essay. They can do it on their own with their parents while offline, and then submit it on the deadline. So yung mga ganun po. We also consider the health benefits of having just the right amount of screen time. Kasi hindi din po healthy sa bata na ang haba-haba ng time nila na nakatitig sa laptop, nakatitig sa tablet. So may effect po yun sa eyesight nila. And I encourage also parents to start establishing or preparing for the school year in such a way na ma-mindset na yung mga bata na pag may school, bawas na yung gadget time na non-academic kasi ilang hours ka nang nakaharap sa computer for the school. So kung after school naka-gadget ka pa din, kawawa naman yung eyes nila. So dapat meron talaga silang other activities without the use of gadget after school. Ayan, next. So ito po yung mga concerns. So what if I don't have internet connection at home? What if I don't have gadgets or it's not enough for all my kids? I understand, yung mga 4 ang anak, ang hirap po talaga to provide all 4 laptops for them. So that's something that we also take into consideration. And I'm working, ayan, yung mga parents na, paano yun? Pumapasok ako 8 to 6, 8 to 5. No one will guide my child during the online classes. Maiiwan lang siya kay lola, kay yaya, hindi nila kaya. May iba pa silang ginagawa. So yung mga ganyan pong concerns, narinig po namin yan lahat sa iba't ibang klase ng parents. So it's okay, we can help you. The program that is fitted for you perhaps is the offline distance learning. Ayan. So pag sinabi pong offline, this is the modular program of STV. Hindi po kailangan mag-log in every day. Students are provided with content and tasks that they need to accomplish within a given time frame. So parang meron po kayong kumbaga lesson plan, weekly lesson plan or module with activity sheets na tatapusin. And then once a week, possible po na every Saturday or every Friday, kapag available na si mommy and daddy, ayan, magmi-meeting po with the teacher, and dun po pwedeng ipagawa yung assessment, yung mga quizzes, and a short clarification sa mga lessons na hindi naintindihan, pero it will just be for an hour. Ayan, and there will still be performance tasks, formative and summative assessments pa din. Yun, ang kulang po dito is yung interaction with classmates. Also yung everyday discussion, live discussion ni teacher. Hindi po nila ma-experience with this offline program. But all the lessons, kasi po sa online, yung mga lessons, yung mga PowerPoint ni teacher, and YouTube video that were used to as supplementary material for the lesson, i-upload po lahat, ipopost po lahat yun sa Google Classroom. So ibig sabihin, kunyari po yung lesson sa fractions kanina na may video, after the class, sa afternoon, ipopost na po yun ni teacher sa Google Classroom para pwede nyo po siyang balikan. Kunyari, pag uwi nyo sa work or kahit na na-guide nyo yung bata during the online class, pwedeng hindi niya pa agad naintindihan. And then if you have extra time before sleeping, anak, balikan nga natin yung lesson nyo kanina. Open natin sa Google Classroom, the PowerPoint. Ayan. So you have access to that. Offline program will have an access to that also. So yung mga materials, yung mga worksheets, ayan, pwede rin po nilang ma-access. Except, ang wala lang po sa offline program, yung interaction, which is a big, a big advantage. Interaction with classmates, with teachers, and yung robotics program po ng grades 3 to 12. It's very beneficial for the online program. So sayang if ma-miss ng bata kung you will opt for offline. Okay, so next. Okay, so these are the possible problems, the ones on the left. Kulang Wi-Fi, kulang sa gadget, yan. But I think dalawa lang yan. It's either we find solutions to this or we make our child stop schooling for a year kung hindi natin susolusyonan. So I think kung gugustuhin natin, magagawa natin ng paraan. I think meron namang mga for sale. If you also need assistance, may mga suppliers po din na nagsisend sa amin ng mga good deals sa laptops, ganyan. Pero out po ang school doon. So it's helping the parents to find the right supplier for your needs. Yun. So meron pong mga mahihiraman siguro sa kamag-anak. So nasa sa atin po yun how to find ways to make learning continue for our children. Ayan. Next. So when choosing ano ba, i-homeschool ko ba, i-enroll ko ba sa online school, so you have to find out how ready a certain school is if you're decided to enroll the child to a school. So next. Ayan, just to give a background about Schola de Vita, ayan, we have DepEd accreditation. So ito yung major, syempre, concern po ng mga parents, dahil napakarami ding nag-o-offer ng online. It's very easy to advertise in Facebook and you do not really know if that school is accredited or not. So you have to really check. Tayo po ay meron namang recognition na po tayo from preschool to grade 12. Ayan, we also have FAPE or PAYAC accreditation. Yun po yung assistance or subsidy from the government wherein kapag sa amin po nag grade 7, yung mga nauna pong nagpa-reserve, we give 13,000 deduction in the tuition fee. Yung 13,000 po na yun, government po ang nagbabayad nun, subsidized ng government. So for a school to be accredited by PAYAC, ibig sabihin po quality school because we have undergone several visits and continuously i-visit kami ng PAYAC to make sure that our curriculum is competent and our teachers are teaching well and are very competent in their field. So yun po yung assurance that our school is a quality school. There, we also have permit to accept foreign students by the Bureau of Immigration. So kahit na meron po kami estudyante, may mga nag-i-inquire from Abu Dhabi, from different parts of the of the world ngayong online. Merong taga Dubai, merong hindi lang exclusive sa Las Piñas and sa Philippines. And we also, our school has grown from 100 plus students to 350 students in 10 years. So I think we have already a good reputation in the community with our growth. Ayan. Next. Proud to say also that our students are passers as scholars in prestigious schools. Yan, our senior high school passed also in Southville International School in their scholarship programs. And our grade 10 students, we are very happy that they're making it in Las Piñas National High School. Ayan, yung mga science high schools. Ayan, anywhere in Las Piñas. Ayan. And also, these are our students who started with us and they graduated with honors. Ayan, we're very proud that they're graduates of Las Piñas City National Senior High School. Na ito po yung school na ang hirap-hirap makapasok na kailangan ang taas-taas ng grade mo sa science and math and kailangan meron kang maintaining grade and sobra din yung pressure ng academics sa students. So I'm glad that our products are making it there and making it to the top. Yeah. Next. We are also winning. Yan, lagi pong Hakot Awards for the past recent years. Yan, we champion among 30 plus schools. Ito pong as a poem recitation and also in different literary musical contests and pop dance. So we also joined that. So I think these competitions, yung mga physical, we might miss this one, but for sure they will find a way to have online competitions soon. Ayan. So next, yan, we have home study and homeschool permit that's already endorsed by the superintendent of Las Piñas. Ayan. Because aside from home study, yung ngayon po na online, yung homeschooling po ay we applied it last year pa po without the pandemic because there are homeschoolers who approached me and their parents are asking, is there a way that our children who are homeschooled will join your school in their varsity o kaya sa mga pwede ba sila mag-sit in sa mga subjects na hindi ko na kayang ituro. So yung mga hybrid po yung tawag nila. Kaya po kami nag-apply ng permit. So, pwede po yun. Possible yun sa mga homeschoolers. Ayan. Next. There. So, we are, I think, we're the first school to offer online summer in Las Piñas. Parang our teachers are very fast in embracing the new normal. And we started as early as May 4. And right now, we are on our batch 3 of summer classes and we've been receiving positive feedback so far. Ayan. So this serves as a training ground for our teachers. Kaya pagdating ng pasukan, ready na po talaga sila. So konting adjustments na lang talaga. Unlike for some schools na ngayon pa lang sila magsa-start, ngayon pa lang sila magpa-practice or siguro hindi nakapag-offer ng summer, for sure sa pasukan pa lang nila kakapain how it's going to be. There. So next. There. So we got these words of appreciation from our parents. There, we are motivated by this kind words. So I hope you also continue boosting us and sharing positive comments so we can continuously provide the best education for your children. So it says here na yung iba, ang ine-expect talaga sa online school, baka mag-walk out yung anak nila, hindi maging focus, baka hindi matuto. So yung, same apprehensions like all other parents. But with the efforts of our hardworking teachers, talagang malaking factor. Yung teacher factor po talaga, it's very important. Kahit gaano ka-advanced yung curriculum and technology, diba? If the teacher doesn't know how to handle it and to hook the students, then hindi rin po siya magiging successful. Yeah. So next, there. So the one on the right is the way to present number concepts in math. So kung isipin natin, di ba, ang hirap himayin ng yung mga abstract and vague concepts in children. It's very hard to really teach them na you're just verbally communicating to each other. So we provide as much as possible yung mga visuals that can really make them understand and activities that involve the use of manipulative so they can really apply it. Na pag sinabing 65, why is 56 lesser than 65? Can you demonstrate it to me? Even if they're far away, diba? Makikita ni teacher na naintindihan niya kasi the child was able to do it using Legos, using blocks, or using materials that are available. Ayan. So, kahit na mahirap si math, it can still turn out to be fun and interactive. There, next. There. So, yan po. Kahit Filipino, araling panlipunan na napaka-challenging, if the teachers are very creative in presenting lessons and nakukuha nila yung attention and yung engagement of the students, then everything will be successful. Yeah, next. Yeah, so activities are fun, interactive, and engaging. For the parents here of preschoolers, you can message us if you want to have a trial class. We have an ongoing batch 3 and this will end on July 6. So before July 6, you can still accommodate scheduling of trial classes. Ayan, next. Ayan, so kahit na malayo si teacher, it don't stop teacher from teaching values to our children. Ayan, so the habit of praying before starting the class, praying together, and yung mga reminders of certain values like respect, diba? Yung you don't talk when teacher is talking, raise your hand. So yung mga ganong important values, yung benefit then if you enroll in online classes like this. Ayan, next. There, so it's really the teacher and the way of teaching that were commended. And ito po, ano lang po ito, summer, 12 sessions only. So what more in a school year, di ba? If the parent and the teacher will work collaboratively, there will be so much achievement, I think, for the whole school year. Kahit na shorter yung time, kahit na distance learning, di ba? It will not stop us from making your children learn. Kasi kung ito nga, 12 sessions lang, pero ang dami nang na-achieve ng bata. Ayan, like in reading. There. Okay, so next. What will be our LMS, or Learning Management System and Curriculum? Ayan. We will use Zoom, and we might also use Google Classroom, Google Suite for education. Ayan. But so far, Zoom is working for us. And aside from that, we also have this Prime English, Prime Mathematics, and the V-Smart, and also the Tech Nights Robotics. Ayan. So this Prime Scholastic program will really benefit your children kasi ito kumbaga yung pinaka-backbone ng skills that very important na ma-establish yung reading skills ng mga bata, especially in the foundation years, and all other subject areas, learning areas will follow. There, next. Yeah, so others would ask, what makes it different from DepEd Commons? Yung iba sabihin, mag-public school na lang muna kami kasi parehas lang naman, or free naman. Sa DepEd Commons, download ko lang yung worksheet doon, okay na yung anak ko. So there's a big difference kasi po ang DepEd Commons are just compilation lang po yan ng mga worksheets na sinubmit ng mga teachers. Ayan. So you can freely print it, but then the learning competencies are not there. Unlike in what we have, na meron talaga siyang target per certain grade level. For example, later on, I will show you what Scholastic has that you will appreciate as a parent na ang hirap nitong gawin kung ako lang ang magtuturo sa anak ko, but with this certain LMS and materials, it made my child understand concepts better. There. So next. Ayan. So this is the sample ebook. So as I've said, yung physical books, you will receive it, but you will still see the content doon po sa V-Smart natin. Yan. So yung iba po kasi walang dating sa mga high school, tinatamad pag libro yung hawak. So gusto nila yan, technology. So may advantage naman if they want to study using this. Sometimes, di ba po, pwede nilang i-enlarge and then i-print screen and then i-put together nila yung, yung mga strategies nila on how to remember or to memorize certain facts and lessons. Yun. So, kumbaga, the use and the magic of technology will work. Ayan, next. Here, so these are sample textbooks that you will be receiving and for preschool by Vibal. And then, ayan, for the prime, ayan, so we have Literacy Pro for Scholastic. Ang kagandahan po nito, meron po access ang grades 1 to 10 in the online library. So, di ba po, wala tayong library ngayon if it's online. So, we provided, this is part of the miscellaneous. Ayan, so yung meron pong tinatawag ang Scholastic po kasi is an international known company that addresses the needs of the learners through reading. Ayan. So, ang meron pong tinatawag na Lexile, like ina-assess po yung mga students kung ano na yung Lexile nila. For example, a fast reader, ang Lexile niya ay, for example lang, ay 160. Then, a classmate na hindi pa masyadong fluent reader, nasa 120. Si teacher, hindi niya bibigyan ng same reading material yung magkaiba ng reading abilities because that will hinder the children from achieving their full potentials or their full goals for a certain reading task. So may mga guide dito na kunyari, kung 120 lang ang Lexile mo, ito yung mga reading selection na pwede mo nang basahin. Those words are fitted for your Lexile. So may mga ganun po siya. Ayan. For the math naman, they will get these books. Ayan. Later, makikita niyo po yung kagandahan ng content ng math because it's Singapore math using the basics of block method. There. Next. There. So ito naman sa preschool, those are actual photos po that will be sent, actual materials that will be sent to you. Yan, for nursery to senior kinder, yan, kasama to sa mga books. Because ang hirap po for the teacher to teach na wala tayong gamit, walang material. So, ayan, like yung mga sticks, we can use it for sorting activity, colors, pwede sa addition, place value. Ayan, so yung mga CVC words. And you also get to have a whiteboard, a small whiteboard and a marker. So kasama na po ito lahat sa kanilang miscellaneous. There, and those letters, yung mga nakaprint po na yan, laminated po yan lahat. Yan, next. There, so as mentioned, ayan yung mga visual presentation ng lessons. So as much as possible, hands-on learning pa din kahit distance learning. And then next. Ayan, these worksheets are interactive. Ito po yung nasa right side, dinadrag lang po yung number words to match to the numeral. So possible po yun na kahit wala silang printer, masasagutan pa din ng mga bata. But if you opt to print it, pwede din naman. Ayan, tapos pag sasubmit siya kay teacher, ipipicturean nyo lang po. Tapos isi-send nyo sa Google Classroom. Ayan, next. There, so yung mga high school, elementary, yan, we have ways to make the lessons engaging for them. Kasi sabi ng iba, mag-work ba yung online na yan? Baka hindi makinig yung anak ko, or kung ano-ano lang gagawin. Ayan, so, best effort of the teachers to really provide engaging activities. Yan, kagaya nito, yung PowerPoint that's interactive, so that discussions will be interactive and there will be integration of gamified lessons. Yeah. Next. There. So, ang focus po ngayon ng DepEd is really the most essential learning competencies or what we call the MELC. Ayan. So ang ginagawa po is sinushorten yung time. Kung dati po ay 5 hours a week, kunyari yung English, or yung science, or yung math, hindi na natin pwedeng same duration kasi may limitations nga po na kapag online lagi, bukod sa short attention span, di ba, hindi rin siya healthy talaga sa brain and sa eyes ng bata. So what we do is kahit na i-shorten yung time, it's okay kasi pinili ng teachers yung most essential learning competencies. Yung pinaka importanting skills na kailangan nilang matutunan. Yun po yung mga, kumbaga kahit na tapos na yung exam, dapat alam na alam pa rin nila yon. Let's say, yung mga skills that involve reading a map, reading graphs, yung mga gagamitin nila pagtanda nila. Yung mga ganong skills, yung critical thinking, yung pag-analyze ng story, reading comprehension, pag-weigh ng mga problems, or conceptualizing your own problem using these details. So yung mga ganong skills po, dun po train din ang ating teachers on really how to draw out only the necessary, the most essential learning competencies. Kumbaga ngayon parang time is precious, time is gold. Diba? Kung konti na nga lang yung oras mo ng discussion, it should be directly addressed to the most important competency. There. And ang technique po doon, integration. Kumbaga kung may project or performance ta si English, perhaps ang focus ni English is makapag-recite, kunyari, or tula, speaking skills yung bata. Perhaps yung piece ay something related to science. Para the concepts are addressing science lessons, but the skill is being braided as part of the English class. So yung mga ganun pong strategies that we have. Here, next. Here, so this is the Scholastic Literacy Pro. Ayan, so meron po siyang online stories that you can access. Meron pong read aloud. So it's either online or offline. Ayan, so adaptive reading assessment, pag na-access po nila yan, ito po ay i-explain naman po sa parent orientation. Ayan. The class will read together, tapos habang nagre-read po together, na-highlight po yung words, everyone can see it in the share screen. So ganun po yung engaging experience as they learn to read. Ayan, next. Here, so may mga quizzes din po siya, may mga assessment siya ng comprehension, kung naintindihan ba ng bata yung story that was read. So there's a Lit Pro book quiz. Ayan, and with scores po yan. There, next. Ayan, so you will see then also what are the books that your children have been reading. Ayan, ang kagandahan po nito, yung akma talaga for their level, na dapat ang grade 3 nagbabasa na ng ganito. Ayan, so yun po yung mapoprovide sa kanila. Kasi if you take a look at other schools, syempre yung limited lang yung mababasa ng bata. Kung ano lang yun nandun sa textbook, yun lang. Ayun, next. There. So yung Scholastic po kasi ay very known na siya all over the world. We actually invite Scholastic every year for a book fair. Yan, kasi they're known also for their Lexile books na nakasort na siya per Lexile para alam din ng bata ano ba yung books na para talaga sa akin. And then pag okay na, mas fluent na siya, pwede na siya mag-level up. Yan, next. There. So yan, ito po yung mga reading skills. yung mga inferences, making inferences and conclusion, ayan, comparing and contrasting, analyzing, yan. So ito po talaga, kumbaga, naka-target po talaga siya. And naka-set po siya na this week, ito yung kailangan matutunan ng mga bata. So kahit sabihin mong 30 minutes lang sila nag-English time, tapos the other 30 minutes offline task na yung may sasagutan sila. Hindi po siya bitin kasi direct po siya dun sa objective, yung goal natin na ma-meet yung certain competency. Next. Yeah, so if you have questions, you may chat. There. So ito po yung integration with other subject areas. For example, yung reading material na about animals. Ayan, while it's also science, the same time English din siya. Pwede din na yung reading selection ay about history or about Filipino people, ganyan. So, napakagandang content. Next. There. So, this is an example of a differentiation. Parehas po ng target skill. For example, ang target skill is for the students to draw conclusion with the story that was read. Yung isa po na kaka-learn niya lang mag-read, ano pa lang siya, hindi pa siya sobrang fluent reader, pwede po ibigay sa kanya yung